Shalom, shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power. Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders, the great millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, wherever you may be, wherever you may be. Shalom, Yeshua, shalom. All right, and be super brief here, because there's so much going on, man. Just another world news with commentary. This is Revelation chapter 6. We're going to start at verse 5. Just read a few here. It says, "And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand." Right, for judging, right? He says, "And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see, thou heard not the oil and the wine. The oil and the wine is truth." All right, and there's coming a time period where, because you got different things like, you got these crazy so-called virus outbreaks. You got riots everywhere. People starving. You got starvation. You got Trump holding rallies, speaking about, different things, but also he keeps constantly talking about this mass deportation of migrants, right? And some people may actually just, take it on the chin and go home if that happens in that manner. But there's a lot of them who they don't care what he's talking about. It's in their mind that, I came to America for a reason. And regardless of what the stakes are or the situation is, my life here in America is still better than what it was back home. So there's a lot of people not going to want to go back home. Okay. But this is something that Trump is talking about constantly. Like if he becomes president, and he may be able to, lean toward that a little bit, which causes, stirs up trouble amongst the people for them to rise up and say, hey, this ain't fair, whatever the case may be. All right. Excuse me. And then you have the opposite side, a woman, okay, who pretty much laughed her way into into this position that she's in now. And people on the opposite side are not going to like that if she becomes president. So there's many things that can come into play regardless of who becomes president. Like they're going to work towards the same goal because they've always have. But the thing is, there's on each side there's different ways to get there. Okay, if this person gets president, these things can happen, and this is going to be a result of that. If this person becomes president, these things are what this person is going to do, and this is the result that can come of that, and so on and so forth. Okay, and things are getting tight around America. All right, you got people giving out meth candy. Okay, we understand the giving out candy. Anybody can give out candy at a rally, but the question is, how did they become meth candy? What you doing with meth candy in the first place? So called mistakenly giving out meth candy at rallies and stuff like that. Okay, and everything is expensive. You got everything expensive nowadays, which really is not so much as it's expensive. It's just American dollars crap. Okay, so it seems like everything is expensive because if something costs $5 one week and then the next week it costs $10, the American dollars should be able to cover that $5 gap. But because the money is worthless, people think, which prices in the store do go up, but it's the money that doesn't cover those prices. So they think that inflation is all about the prices seen in the store. Okay, and it's not. All right, but anyways, it says "And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, Come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth." And all these things are happening right now. Okay? These are all the things prophesied about to occur in Jacob's trouble. Okay? And I'm not saying we're just fully flat out Jacob's trouble. Obviously not, because we be pilgrims on the earth right now. I wouldn't be making a lesson. Okay? We be in the thick of it. with all kinds of craziness and chaos going on. But this is what's coming to America. Everything that you see going on in the earth, these are the things that are coming to America. And it's going to catch, the American people off guard. Some of them, okay? Because some of them are actually feeling it and actually waking up to what's going on here. But the majority of Americans, the majority of the Americans, they're asleep, man. Okay? They have no idea what's about to go down. Okay? Let me give a quick verse because I want to get something else too. If I can find it, because I got one more scripture I want to get, but I do want to grab this real quick if I can. I think it's 29. Yep. Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear the rule, the people mourn. And the wicked are in rulership right now. And this is why the whole earth is mourning, rioting, starving, disease ridden, and so on and so forth, man. It's because the wicked are ruling the earth. Okay. And that righteous rule and authority will be that of Yahushua and his kingdom. And that is the kingdom to come. But it has to come in order for us to receive that. But as it is for now, the wicked rulership are in order, okay? Which is why things are going the way that they're going right now, okay? I'm gonna grab this real quick. Get over there to 2 16. Continuing off the other point that we made. 2 16 and 17 says, "Woe is me, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days?" What days? The days of Jacob's trouble. Why? Because it's so terrible. It says the beginning of sorrows and great mournings. Same thing it tells you in Matthew 24, Luke 21. The beginning of famine and great death. The beginning of wars. And one of those other chapters and those scriptures tell you that all these things are the beginning of sorrows, because those things are the beginning of Jacob's trouble. We're witnessing the things that are the beginning of Jacob's trouble. Mass death. Some of them crazy deaths, okay? Disease outbreaks, riots, joblessness. Yeah, I think it was in the UK talking about a mass joblessness. I think Canada, mass number of people lost their job. America, that's been happening. Okay, and then you have people steady building the robots to prefer to take more jobs that already been stricken. Okay, so you just have all these things going on. What's that one song say? The ball of confusion, right? Well, Babylon means missing out by confusion. And right now, this world is a ball of confusion with all the things going on. But these things are all scriptural. That's what the world doesn't see. That's the difference. The world doesn't see that these things are scriptural, even though some people may actually see and understand and realize certain things that are going on in the world. But they don't understand it's scriptural. It's all according to prophecy. It says, "And the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come?" Yeah, that's why it said, "Woe is me, woe is me." And the people are going to panic because they don't know what to do. They're trusting in your government. You're trusting in MAGA or not going back. And you don't know that both sides are deceiving you, so you're not going to know what to do besides what you've always done, which is to trust them. And it's going to lead you nowhere, as it has always done. Behold, famine, it's also going to lead to you rioting and chaos, because both of those sides are one against another. That divide and conquer technique that the elites have always used. Behold, famine and plague, both things going on. Tribulation and anguish, riots, okay, and are sent as scourges for amendment, okay, because the people aren't getting the clear picture. All right, the Lord talks about bringing back that fear of him, like back in the times of Egypt, and it's going to be, man, way beyond what we can believe. Okay, because Egypt was one thing, but what he's going to do in the earth and these things, okay, I mean, in these days, right? Rise up the people one against another, famine, great death, people eating their children and eating one another, okay? Sure, people think they're going to plan to take down the government. Right, you got his different technologies, all kinds of weapons, and different bombs and all kinds of things. You got Leviathan, right? We talked about the other week how there's a dense body of water underneath the ocean. So there's basically water underneath the water, and he can't go in it. He'll bounce off of it. That's probably where Leviathan is hiding. Okay, Bermuda Triangle, possibly. It's probably possibly one of those places down there. But those places of dense water that they can't go into under the ocean, it's probably where Leviathan is hiding, which is why they probably never seen him under the ocean. All right. Think about the biggest whale, and then Leviathan's bigger than that. Yeah, he's probably hiding down there. That family is probably hiding down there in those deep, dense, underneath that dense water where those, submarines or whatever it is can't travel into because they bounce off the surface of it. And Leviathan is going to be released. It's necessary. But the scriptures talk about all these things. You understand all the different things happening on the earth. And then you see this monstrous looking thing. But then people are also seeing spirits. Man. Hey, if you're not right with the Lord, man, and you wonder why the scriptures talk about men's hearts failing them for fear. Heart attacks, man. The things unimaginable to the human brain are actually going to truly manifest themselves. Okay, the Lord's going to plague people by their own thoughts, man. You understand why the scriptures talking about having heart attacks? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for a minute. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness. You're not going to understand and realize why these things are happening. You're not going to reverence the Lord's priest, okay, or his men on the streets. Okay, you're going to mock them. And the average person, they do it even now, before the all-out chaos. They come to the prophets to learn about, certain truths, but still go back and believe what they want to believe, or still go back and believe some false-ass count. Okay, or go back and try to say, make a video and act like they had some kind of revelation. Man, Lord got everybody numbered. Okay, for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth. And we already talked about that, right? That they shall think themselves to be in good case. Okay, it says, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. And I always mention this. You got these doomsday preppers. You got people who will panic buy. And these people think they're going to be in good case because they hoarded things. They hoarded this, they hoarded that. They stuffed things in a secret chamber, in a secret bunker, or something, wherever, Doomsday preppers, all these things. And they're going to think that they're in good, like the movie Leave the World Behind. My man was buying, he was buying the right things while everybody else was buying craziness. Okay, like it showed him and the woman, I forget her name, but the main woman in the movie. But they saw and they looked at one another. He was buying what was necessary. She was just buying things, but he was buying necessary things. And then, came later on in the movie. They came to him because they needed, they wanted to buy, they wanted to trade, and so on and so forth. Those are going to be also new ways. People are going to barter. Okay, you need certain things. Maybe you're overflowing with water, but your food supply is getting short. And maybe there's someone who has an excessive amount of food, but they're looking for water, and you just so happen to run into one another. And that's gonna be a new trade system for a minute, because he's gonna make sure he cracks down on that, man. Because that's the whole game plan, to make you want him, so you can take his devices, right? But all these people storing up these things are storing them up for them to be taken and raided by someone else, which is upon that, the mass death and killing and, the rising of the people. But also, more importantly, there's going to be things that they're storing up for for the hopeful elect, when the Spirit of the Lord is guiding them, when angels are guiding them, right? Taking them to wherever they need to be so they can eat clean foods, all right? Not like you bug outs, man. Think you can eat whatever you want. In the middle of Jacob's trouble, thinking you're going to find some pork chop, but the Lord is dealing with you, man. Stop playing. Man. The Lord is going to feed his people, and it's going to be clean foods, okay? You might even have some good fresh fruits. Maybe some meat here you can cook or whatever to make it. The Lord is going to feed his people, man. Believe that. All right? Even if it's some beef jerky. You stumble on a truck with loads of beef jerky. We don't know how this got here, but hey, that was the Lord. Let me get this beef jerky right here. you know, you sitting there with some honey barbecue, some teriyaki beef jerky. All right, but anyways, because it could be the slightest thing. We have no idea. We could read the scriptures and imagine certain things when it goes to the horrors and the terrors and things. Also, as the protection, but we really don't know the extent of what the Lord is going to do. Nor do we know the extent of the chaos and how terrifying this time period will be. Okay, we read about it and we get a surface level of things, but to actually have to live in it, man, you're going to want nothing but the Lord and this truth. It says, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. We've been talking about it, right? And the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. What does it say in Lamentations? It's better to die by the sword than by famine, because these pine away, stricken through for the wants of the fruits of the field, man. Just paraphrase it. And then it goes on in the next verse to pinpoint you women, man. Because a lot of women out there still talk about they don't need men, still talk about their careers, still talk about girls trips. They don't need a man. They sit in the house as a cat lady, animal lady, dog lady, whatever. Okay. The chick had everything going for herself, and she go home every night by herself, man. And you think people don't notice and don't see this, man? Priding themselves and looking beautiful all the time. Okay. And which I guess there's nothing wrong with looking beautiful, but the thing is, you want to put it all over social media. But then, when a guy wants to talk to you, you're turning him down, man. And just so happens that's the spirit of the Lord. It's nothing impossible for the Lord. Be one of those many men, or many of those many men that you turn down, right? When you had that mini skirt on, or whatever the case may be, right? You were looking real good outside, but you turn down every man that try to talk to you. Okay. And Lord, all those men that turned you down and really want you, some of those might be weirdos, right? The Lord bring them right around your way, where you are, man. You women are going to be helpless. The men are going to be helpless. So what more you women? You're just out of there automatically, man. But anyways, let's get this next verse. It says, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. Okay, and all these things are going to lead up to the pressure, of martial law and enforcing the new way on the earth, which is through the digital system, digital means, right? All these things are coming, man, that the prophets have been prophesying about. And as it says in Ezekiel 33, when these things come to pass, you shall know that the prophet hath been among you. And that's why there's going to be women seeking seven women, which is just a complete number. Multiple women seeking one man. It's going to be the man of the Lord, because he has the truth. They're going to see that he's getting it. He's making it. He's getting by. He's eating. Why has nothing happened to him? Why did that pack of pit bulls run right by him, okay, to get someone else? Right? Why did that bear come and fight off, this wild animal and protected him? Okay, but it went and got that other group of people. And I'm just thinking random things, man, because it could be anything, man. Okay, but like I said before, the unimaginable things are going to happen, man. Okay, you're talking about apparitions and things of that nature, Leviathan. Okay, so if those things are going to be, true on this earth, man, then what more? Just, the regular everyday things that can go on anywhere, anytime around this earth. All right, so the Americans are docile, man. And, people like, Trump or Kamala are playing their roles in keeping the American people asleep, because when the things roll out, they're going to get hit like a freight train, man. I just wanted to read a few scriptures, man. We're going to get this news for you, man. Just another world news with commentary. So Lord will you be edified. Shalom.
We're learning quite a bit more tonight about a wave of attempted cyber attacks by Iranian state hackers targeting email accounts linked to the campaigns of former President Trump and Vice President Harris. CBS's Nicole Skanga joins us with the details. Nicole.
Major, Iran has launched a sweeping months-long cyber attack targeting both U.S. presidential campaigns, according to a new report out by Google. Researchers for the tech giant revealing today that Iranian hackers, known as APT42, used malicious links to target the personal email accounts of roughly a dozen people back in May and June, including members of the Biden-Harris administration. Google calls these phishing attacks wide-ranging and ongoing. The revelations come on the heels of another security report, this one from Microsoft, last week, indicating that a high-ranking campaign official was the target of a similar Iranian-backed attack. The FBI confirmed Monday that it has launched an investigation, Major.
Part of a new normal in cyberspace. Nicole, thank you so much.
A New Zealand charity apologised on Wednesday for distributing dozens of pineapple-flavoured candies found to be laced with potentially deadly amounts of methamphetamine. The Auckland City Mission provides essentials to those in need and first became aware of the issue when some recipients complained about the foul-tasting sweets. The New Zealand Drug Foundation found they contained a potentially lethal 0.1 ounce of the drug. Detective Inspector Glenn Baldwin. The three affected were a child, a teen and a charity worker, police said. The candy was donated by an unknown member of the public and a police investigation has been launched. Police said there was no suggestion of wrongdoing by the charity and they believe the candies were the byproduct of an international drug trafficking operation. In a statement, the Auckland City Mission said it was devastated by the discovery.
You have team coverage of former President Trump's rally in Asheville today.
Thousands gathered there to hear him speak in the battleground state. We start our coverage with Chloe Salsameda, who was inside the rally.
The former president spoke for about an hour and 15 minutes about how he plans to tackle the economy if elected. He says on day one, he'll sign an executive order to bring inflation down.
Hello to North Carolina. Thank you.
Former President Donald Trump speaking to a crowd of about 2,000 in Asheville.
Vote Trump and your incomes will soar, your savings will grow, young people will be able to afford a home.
Trump's speech focused on the economy and how Americans have been impacted by inflation.
Credit card debt has exploded, and it's exploded to the highest it's ever been, and the cost of a typical monthly mortgage has tripled.
He says if elected, he'll eliminate taxes on tips and Social Security and take steps to lower inflation and energy prices.
From the day I take the oath of office, we will rapidly drive prices down and make America affordable again.
Before Trump took the stage, thousands of his supporters waited in line, eager to get a spot inside the arena.
Well, first of all, I support him. And second of all, he's just a character.
Oh, right there, make America great again. We got to have Trump. We got to have him back.
Meanwhile, a small group of protesters gathered nearby.
We have a right to protest and to express our opinion, just like these folks do.
I see the hope and the joy that Kamala and her team are bringing to the country. It's really energizing.
Kamala, you're fired. Get out of here. Go.
As Trump rallied his crowd, he vowed to lower the cost of prescription drugs within his first 100 days in office. He also discussed immigration.
If I win, you will have the largest deportation operation in American history, starting at noon on Inauguration Day 2025.
Vice President Harris plans to host a rally in Raleigh on Friday. In Asheville, Chloe Salsameda, 7 News.
North Carolina's Governor Roy Cooper released a statement ahead of that visit saying, quote, Donald Trump is a bad bet North Carolina can't afford, while Kamala Harris is a proven winner who's delivered for our state.
More Indian hospitals were disrupted on Tuesday as doctors continued nationwide protests against the alleged rape and murder of a trainee doctor in Kolkata. Authorities and the media say demonstrations for the deceased 31-year-old gained further momentum from the previous day. Thousands of patients were left without care across the country. Kolkata state officials said emergency services remained suspended in almost all of their government-run hospitals. And over 8,000 government doctors joined the strikes in the western Maharashtra state, halting all hospital departments except emergency services. Doctors held posters calling for justice for the victim, with some medics like Dr. Ranganathan Dixit in New Delhi calling for the Central Bureau of Investigation to act.
We want a fair inquiry and demand CBI intervention. We are demanding strict action against authorities who try to conceal evidence related to the case and the resignation of the college principal.
Doctors in India's crowded and often squalid government hospitals say they are overworked and underpaid, and sometimes bear the brunt of violence by those angry at inadequate medical services. Medics maintain their workplace environment is unsafe, even after the weekend arrest of a police volunteer in Kolkata for the doctor's murder. A Health Ministry spokesperson did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Protesting Dr. Abdul Wakim Khan.
The principal of the college, who made reckless statements about the incident, was merely transferred out of the college. We are demanding his termination, not transfer. We're also demanding the death penalty for the criminal caught in the case.
A Kolkata police chief told reporters a case had been registered against the suspect relating to rape and murder. And the region's chief minister said she'd given state police a deadline of Sunday to finish their investigation. If not, she'd hand it to federal agencies.
In the UK, a major incident has been declared after a toxic chemical spill in a canal in Walsall near Birmingham. The public have been warned to avoid a 12-mile stretch of the canal network. Let's take you to Joe Black, who is there for us. Joe, what happened?
We're not quite sure at the moment. The investigation into what happened is ongoing, but a major incident has been declared. And as you can see behind me, there are police here. There are people who've been walking around in high visibility jackets. Just over the road, there is some police tape. It's across the entrance to the canal and the towpath, meaning people can't go down towards the canal. And if you just look down there, you can see dead fish in the water. It's just a rough estimate, but we think we can see around 100 fish from here, and obviously there will be others reported elsewhere along the canal. The spill, the toxic spill, we are told was discovered on Monday. As I say, an investigation is ongoing, and we believe water testing is taking place. Some of the people in high visibility jackets that we saw, one of them did have a very long pole with a metal beaker, and another one was carrying something like a cool bag, something like that you put your sandwiches in on a very hot day. So those water tests should be ongoing. Results of those we hope we'll find out soon. The council leader, Walsall council leader Gary Perry, has confirmed the substance as sodium cyanide. Now, we understand that chemical can cause seizures, vomiting and loss of consciousness. And as you were just saying there, the public have been told to avoid a 12-mile stretch of the canal network, which runs from Walsall, where we are now, to Birmingham, but also taking in Wednesbury, Tipton and West Bromwich. Now, this chemical, we understand, is used in industry for things like metal cleaning, plating and photography. It dissolves in the water, and if you come into contact with it, it can be risky. So it could be risky to people and their pets, and anyone who is concerned has been told to contact the local NHS 111 or 999 if there is an emergency. The authorities say They're working as cautiously and as quickly as they can, and hopefully the restrictions will be reduced once they feel like they've got a grip on the situation.
Joe, thank you so much for updating us.
A growing number of Britons are opting out of the workforce. New figures from the Office for National Statistics reveal 9.5 million people aged 16 to 64 were economically inactive between April and June. That's the highest level since 2011. Over 2.8 million of these individuals are out of work due to long-term sickness. This surge in economic inactivity is a major challenge for the government as it seeks to boost economic growth. Well, the UK's labour market is sending mixed signals. While the unemployment rate has unexpectedly dropped to 4.2%, wage growth is slowing down. Regular pay increases have slipped to 5.4% from 5.8% in the previous quarter. Moreover, the number of job vacancies is declining. This suggests a tightening labour market despite a falling unemployment rate. The Bank of England may be encouraged to cut interest rates as wage growth eases, but the overall picture remains complex. Experts suggest that immigration could potentially play a role in filling labour shortages, but the issue remains a politically charged one. Labour's Rachel Reeves has called for more support to get people back to work, promising to address the issue in her upcoming budget. The government, however, points to falling unemployment as evidence of its success. As the economy faces challenges, both sides are under pressure to deliver solutions. Well, joining us now is Jonathan Liss, Deputy Director of the think tank British Influence and a journalist. Jonathan, many thanks for joining us. Concerning figures really for Rachel Reeves and the new government, of course their big ambition to grow the economy, yet we're seeing record numbers out of work. Give us your assessment.
I think that there are many reasons why we have figures the rising of people who are out of work. I think that a lot of people on the right would like to depict that as people being feckless or lazy or work shy, words that we've heard in British political discourse for many decades. But actually, the truth is that there are a lot of people who are sick. There are a lot of people who became sick during COVID and never recovered. And it's very difficult to get benefits actually in Britain. So there's a myth that we have in Britain that it's you just turn up to the doctor and say, I'm sick, and suddenly you can sort of live in a castle for the rest of your life without working again. That simply is not true. It's not enough to live on from most of the benefits that people are given. And of course, you also have a lot of rising stresses in life, and that is also feeding illness. And of course, you also have a number of students who are, an increasing number of students in this country, and that adds to the figures as well. But of course, we do also need migrants to fill the labour shortages in this country, and that's why it's vitally important that we have an attractive marketplace for people to come and abandon this idea of a hostile environment which came in under the Conservative government, which basically treated migrants as invaders rather than the people who are keeping our economy afloat.
Absolutely. And Jonathan, what's your assessment about what the new Labour government potentially may do to solve this issue? Because clearly, I appreciate you're saying there's a lot of people genuinely off work for genuine reasons, but there are obviously a number in the economy perhaps who aren't. And what is Labour's tactic? What is Labour's strategy to try and encourage more people back into the workplace from those domestic here without turning to immigration?
Well, obviously, if people can work and want to work, they should be given all the tools necessary to be able to do so. I've always believed more in a carrot approach than a stick approach. For example, the idea that was mooted before of withdrawing people's benefits is not going to help anyone if it just forces more people into destitution. And let's not forget, a lot of these people who are not working, who perhaps could work, who are on benefits, also have children. And so in punishing them, you're also punishing children who have no agency or power whatsoever. So obviously there need to be schemes and sort of re-employment schemes, re-education schemes across the country for people who may have had jobs that no longer exist. We know that there is a deindustrialisation that's happened in Britain But in general, the government needs to focus on growing the economy, increasing productivity. That means investment, spending, rather than the early signs of austerity, which Rachel Reeves signalled a couple of weeks ago, which will not be good for the economy at all.
Let's shift our focus to New Zealand. There is growing concern revolving around the country as record numbers of people are leaving the country amid rising unemployment and economic challenges. According to the latest figures from Statistics New Zealand, a staggering 131,200 people departed the country in the year ending June 2024. This marks the highest annual departure rate on record. With rising cost of living and a sluggish economy, many New Zealanders are seeking better opportunities abroad. Let's also take a closer look at the situation. In an unprecedented migration trend, New Zealand is experiencing a historic exodus. Recent data reveals that 131,200 people, as I mentioned earlier, left the country in the past year. That's the highest number ever recorded. Of those leaving, about 80,174 are citizens, which is nearly double the number that was seen before the pandemic. And this surge is largely driven by mounting economic pressures. Unemployment has risen to 4.7% as of second quarter of 2024, with inflation remaining high at 3.3%. The country's economy grew by a meager 0.2% in the first quarter of this year, reflecting the ongoing economic stagnation. The high cost of living and limited job opportunities are pushing many New Zealanders to seek a new life elsewhere. 1/3 of these migrants are heading to Australia, where there is a strong demand for skilled workers. Australia is actively recruiting professionals in fields such as nursing, policing and teaching, as well as offers relocating and relocation packages that make it an attractive option for those looking to leave. With no visa requirements for New Zealanders, Australia remains a preferred destination for many seeking better jobs. This mass departure reflects broader economic issues, including the central bank's aggressive interest rate hikes, which have increased by 521 basis points since 1999.